Hi guys, third time making this video. Let's hope it goes well. 23rd of August 2019 at 40 minutes past 3 in the afternoon over here in the UK. Tomorrow, the 24th to the 26th in France, is the G7 summit, the 45th G7 summit. Donald Trump being the 45th president. I don't know, that might have some interest. The more interesting thing for me is the G being the seventh letter of the alphabet added onto the 7 gives us a reference to 7 twice. 7 twice being 7-Eleven, 7-Eleven being 7, the Roman calendar, September, and 11 Roman numerals number 2, so 2nd of September basically. Despite that, I'll still be keeping an eye out on these dates, the 24th to the 26th, just because there has been a report which I just caught of the French police thwarting an attack on the G7 summit. Now, before I made this video, I was wondering whether to make this video, and the reason I made this video is because of this report. It kind of reinforced my concerns about the potential for an attack at the G7 summit. French authorities have arrested 5 people suspected of planning an attack on this weekend's G7 summit in Biarritz. The meeting of world leaders has proved to be a magnet for left-wing protest movements. So we're keeping an eye out, and if something does happen at that event, obviously that would have global and economic consequences. Possibility of that attack being blamed on Iran would be likely. The previous attacks that took place in France were blamed, on ISIS, and they were saying they had some connections to the Iranian government. We were looking out for potential attacks taking place in France around the Women's World Cup, so it's possible that things were interpreted incorrectly at that point, and we're looking out for something else, possibly associated with the G7 summit. That could have links to the iPet Goat 2 video, where we have the suits and, the Antichrist coming up out of the middle of them. That's not a scene I often go to, so I'm not exactly familiar with where it exactly is. There we are in this video. Here it is. So this could be a representation of the G7, all these business people. Again, we've got different interpretations for this. Wall Street, other, business-like events, just because they're all wearing suits and they have briefcases. But the possibility of it being, linked to the G7, an event happening there that causes, economic collapse. And obviously, I don't think any event at the G7 would be a real event. I think it would be, orchestrated and, pretty much just a show. It would also have the added effect of enabling a whole bunch of world leaders to go underground. If the attack wasn't real and made to look real, they could then disappear underground while the world above goes into chaos. That would be Donald Trump, Angela Merkel, Boris Johnson, can't remember the Canadian Prime Minister's name, but yeah, the world leaders, so I'm definitely keeping an eye out. August 24th to August 26th, and then obviously the next day that follows is August 27th. We've talked about a lot, so I don't really have to go over that too much, but just for a quick kind of emphasis and interpretation on the hangman here, that would be H, the eighth letter of the alphabet, so put that to the side as August. Then you've got the XX for the eyes, which would be 20, and then you've got the tongue, which could be a sideways 7, so 827. We could be looking at that. On the shark, we've got 8 teeth here. Surrounding the 8 teeth is the mouth, which makes up the number 2, and just hidden by Obama's head and hat, the number 7 goes in to make up the tail, which gives us again 827. We move on and we go to the back wall. We can see the hair again, H, the 8th letter of the alphabet, 2 ears pointing upwards right next to it, 7 in the vine leaves, 827. So we're keeping an eye out. And then we have 9-2, which the hair is then looking at. So maybe what happens on 827 is linked to whatever might happen on 8-2, following on to 8-3. Over here we've got the stag or the deer on fire, and that could have connections with the Amazon forest on fire at the moment. Just little points of images to give you small connections to news reports, showing you that you're running along this timeline and you're getting to scenarios that we've talked about for the last 2 years. So 827, we've talked about that. 9-2, we can see just how that may be interpreted there. Again, 9-2 in the UK is the first day of school. We've got the apple here. That's what students usually give to teachers on their first day of school, so there may be another connection there. We roll on to the next scene and we can see that we have the number 7 just down here on the ground, or the letter L, If it is the letter L, I'll be talking about December interpretations as long as I can later on in the year as we get closer to it. But for now, the 7 is representing the 7th month on the Roman calendar, which is September. And then we have the letter C, which represents the third letter on, the letter C, which is the third letter of the alphabet, giving us a reference to number 3. So 7-3, but Roman, so 9-3. If that follows on from 8-27, rabbit looking at 9-2, then we roll on to 9-3. We may have a short but definitive timeline. As we go outside the classroom, we may have another reference to 7-3. Just play it. It's a little bit hard to catch exactly where I want it, which is just over here. So yes, it could be 23, but it could also be an upside down 7 with the number 3 there. 7 Roman calendar month, September, and the 3rd day. So August 27th, September 2nd, and then September 3rd. And who knows, the reason something could happen on August 27th could be linked to something happening at the G7 summit sometime between August 24th and August 26th, maybe in association with a potential attack that takes place there, enabling the world leaders to go underground and the world above to go into chaos. You guys have a good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and may the Heavenly Father bless you.